Hey guys, my name is Ryker, and welcome to the Stanley Parable. I played this game way back when it was in early, it was like early beta or something. It was a Half-Life mod, I believe. Oop.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Alright, I guess we're in. Okay, so this is a very heavily narrated game. So he said we leave our office, so let's go outside. Nope.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Okay. And this looks a lot better. Wow. But yeah, it was like it was a Half-Life.
No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
That's off. Yeah, it was a Half-Life mod and kind of took you through some of the Half-Life areas if you disobeyed the guy, the narrator. Aw. Oh. Looks like a door. Oh. Okay, looks like I have to go through there. So, pretty much we're, everybody vanished, and we are playing on the part of Stanley here.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Should I obey the narrator or disobey him? I go backwards? I guess I'll obey him the first time.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Let it ball up inside you. Take it out passive-aggressively. Oh, fine. Synergize. Core value expenditures. Oh. So it looks nice. Like that a lot. Broom closet. Ooh, I can go in the broom closet.
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
Well, there's all sorts of cool stuff in here. fine.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Upstairs, right? This is upstairs? Going up? Yeah? Can't really read that. So small, but you got like a cat guy on a bike, motorcycle, riding through the desert, and it looks like there's a little alien there. Huh. Wait. Nah. I thought that was something from... Oh. That's weird.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all.
Well,
none of it made any logical sense.
It could have
and as
gone
Stanley
to a coffee
pondered
party.
this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went?
Shut up.
And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming, he yelled. This is all
I didn't say
a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground.
Whoa.
Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me.
It's getting really weird. It's not ending.
How it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course...
Can I get back in before it closes on me?
How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself?
Shut up!
Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life.
But
now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock.
Does that mean I'm crazy?
After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream.
Shut up.
Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment, and my wife, and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been.
What?
My life is normal. I am normal.
Not really. It's
everything will be fine.
Voice.
I am okay.
What is happening? I like how the clicking sound is.
Stanley began screaming. Please, someone wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real.
This is getting really,
I must
really
be
intense.
real. I must be. Can anyone hear my
Everything's
voice?
going red.
Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black.
Did I get abducted? What happened?
This is the story of a woman named Mariella. Mariella woke up on a day like any other.
What?
She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments, she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy. This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't.
This is
It was
taking a weird
comforting to
turn.
think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day. The very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
Well, fine. See if I care. Jeez. Ugh. I don't like this guy. What? Alright.
All of his co-workers were gone.
Yeah, no
What
shit.
could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Yeah, I'm sure.
When Stanley came to a set of two
Yeah, that's
open
one I know.
doors, he entered the door on his left.
Jeez.
Yet there was
Help me.
not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Dude, you killed me just now. You understand that? I remember that. I remember it. Room closet.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Alright, so we're going to our boss's office. So that we don't get monologued to death. Literally. I want to see what's over here first. This is like a gold executive platform. It's got gold plate on it. Looks fancy. It is fancy, but it's a bathroom, so who cares? What's in here? Anything good? No?
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
Boy, I just had this random number pop in my head. I don't know how to... Am I supposed to enter this? Secret?
Stanley just sat around twiddling his thumbs.
Oh,
Trying to input
yeah.
anything on the device was useless, since he could never
That wasn't
possibly
there.
know that the combination was 2845. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Well, not to brag, but pushing buttons is what I'm good at, after all. It is my work. What's over here? I want to see what's... Anything cool? I can't. Just darkness. Okay. Button! Alright. Well, I'm going to shorten these videos up, so I'm all out of time. If you like this video, subscribe to see more of the videos I've done. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next part. Catch you later.